All right, this is Mike Long, and I'm really privileged to be here with Mark Ling. This is actually the first time I've talked to Mark face to face. There may be a little bit of jerkiness with the video because Mark's all the way over in New Zealand. That's how he got to be so handsome. He's all the way on the other side of the world. I was introduced. The first person who really talked to me about Mark is a friend of mine, somebody who I really respect, Matt Carter. And Matt actually began by giving Mark a really astonishing testimonial. Matt was actually went to high school with Mark, and he had a bit of a rough start getting into online marketing. And Mark really helped Matt turn things around. That was like the big turning point for Matt, was actually working with his friend from high school and getting advice from him. Actually, just going through Mark's, I guess, affiliate blueprint.
Yeah, started out with a filler blueprint, and then I gave him one of my other products where I teach people how to make money in the internet marketing niche as well. And yeah, and he's a good friend of mine, so we spend a lot of time on Skype and stuff. And as you know, as we've spoken about since then, you know, just to be fully clear on this, I've learned a lot from him over time too. Since then, like he took a lot of stuff, you know, give him an inch and he took it a mile. You know,
That's wonderful.
You know, he got better than me at a lot of aspects of internet marketing. You know, he might have, you know, which is what you want when you coach somebody. So
well, and he was very proud to give you a testimonial, which I thought that
cool.
was so great. And you know, just so you know, I've really vetted Mark. I actually dug through the dirty canals of the Warrior Forum looking for some dirt on Mark to see if there was anything bad out there on him. I went through page after page after page after page, posts dating back into the 2009, 2010. I didn't read one negative post about him from all those, and that's very unusual.
Touch wood, nobody gets any ideas that's listening.
Yeah, knock on wood, exactly. But you know, it's very unusual to have the kind of reputation that me and Kelly have on the Warrior Forum, and so I really feel like we're kindred spirits. I feel very privileged. Now, what we're going to talk about today, Mark actually got a really fast start with internet marketing all the way back many years ago, but then due to some unfortunate circumstances, I don't know if we're going to get into that or not, but he took a bit of a tumble, had to start from scratch, and he's identified 4 key turning points when he had to start from scratch again and rebuild things. 4 key turning points that helped him build a multi-million-dollar business empire, and so I'm really privileged to be talking to him about those turning points.
Yeah, actually, I think I've got 6 noted down here.
Right.
I've got, because I noted down a couple after I spoke to you.
Two
before,
bonuses.
so,
2 bonuses.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah. So I'll mention them quickly. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah. But shall I get underway and have a quick chat about it?
Please do.
Okay. Now the first thing that I'll just give you people a quick background is I got into making money online back in 1999. I was a pizza delivery boy at the time. I was at university as well, and I was struggling to be able to pay the rent because I was flatting at the time. And so anyway, cut a long story short, I got into affiliate marketing. Within 6 weeks of being into affiliate marketing, I got myself making $1,000 a week. Okay, so I had a fast start. Things went well. I found little loopholes for getting ranking highly in search engines like Yahoo. You know, promote an affiliate product, earn commissions, and things were rosy back then. Partly because there was a lot of people jumping online searching for stuff and not enough results to put up in the search engines. Right. You know, so things were different. So anyway. Anyway, the first sort of little thing, I wouldn't call it a turning point, I don't know, maybe I will call it a turning point. First thing was, the reason I had a fast start like that was because I found I didn't know it at the time, I know it now, I didn't know it at the time, I found a marketplace that had exploded at faster than, so the demand was like way higher than the supply, right. Okay? And if you want to look at anything similar to that now, I would look at Amazon Kindle.
Yeah,
I would look at
up.
The App Store.
Yep.
You know, I've actually just give you an idea, just to repeat history for itself for me. I just decided about 2 months ago I'm going to get into making some apps in the App Store. Right. I went through Amish Shah's course on making apps and stuff, and it's been about 8 weeks, and I'm now making just about $1,000 a day. Okay,
wow, that's awesome.
In apps. So I'm repeating history for itself, because I've decided, you know what, this is just like when I started in 1999. There's so much demand, not enough supply for things. There are people searching for apps on all sorts of damn things. So, you know, you just got to think about the keywords and that sort of stuff. So I thought I might just throw that in there before even getting started on the turning points. I thought,
that's terrific.
you know,
what was that first niche that you got into that was the first turning point niche for you?
For me, the dating niche.
Yeah.
Well, not so much the how to get a girlfriend niche. I got into that not too long after getting started, but it was more the dating as in a dating site where people, you know, you earn commissions based on every member you sign up, and then they chat with each other and go out on a date. Yeah.
So you're helping people find love.
Absolutely. And you know what, you'll find out, you know, I learned over the course of my time that a lot of the best niches are anything to do with I used to think it was anything to do with dating, relationships, losing weight, and what's the other one?
Making money?
Making money. But it's actually, that's not quite right. It's actually better than that.
Okay.
Look up I'm just going to Google it right now so I can read it to you. 7 deadly sins. And then you'll find 7 things that motivate people to buy stuff.
That is so funny. You know, it's funny that you mentioned those 3 because my good friend Travis Sago, he likes to say health, wealth, and love are the 3 big hot buttons. But I like that 7 deadly sins.
They are, but they actually go further than that. Yeah. 7 deadly sins. The first one is lust, which is basically it's love, or you know. Next one's gluttony.
Right.
So people want things in excess, but it's not just food. That's money as well. They want things in excess. Mm-hmm. So if you're selling a product like on how to lose weight, they want to lose weight while eating donuts, as my friend Chris Haddad says.
Yeah.
Okay. They want to be able to have the gluttony as well. Greed, I guess that's more of the money side.
Yeah.
Greed, you know. Sloth. People want to make money, but they also want to be able to do it while being in their underwear or whatever. You know.
That's what we do.
Yeah. Or lose weight while watching TV.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Next one's Acadia, which what's that? That's the neglect to take care of something that someone ought to do. It's what's that mean? Behavior, melancholy. I'm just having a quick look at what it means. Refusal to help others in times of need. I'm not 100% sure on that one. I'll just skip past that one to the next one.
Oh no,
that was sorry. No, that's one of the original deadly sins. Sorry, that got changed. I'm just looking straight through the. I'm looking at Wikipedia, but they've listed 9, and that one was missed. Wrath, rage, revenge.
Yeah, revenge. It actually is a niche. It's sad to say, but it's true.
No, but sometimes people want things so that they can look at me. You know, look at how I am now. They want to improve themselves, lose weight, whatever. They want to get a revenge body, so that their boyfriend really regrets ever dumping them. Or
I love that, a revenge body. That's great copy.
Yeah, absolutely. And then there's envy. People get motivated by jealousy and so forth. Yeah. And then there's pride as well.
Sure.
So anyway, those 3 niches, yes, but I kind of like to, I kind of learnt that you can almost take it just a little further. And look at those. Look up the 7 deadly sins, and you'll pretty much know what motivates just about every purchase or thing that you ever get.
I love it. No, that's good thinking. Yeah, we want to get into our customers' minds, and you know that's how we can best serve them. So you got your fast start, and you really got this like leverage start. You know, like people could be doing right now with Kindle and the App Store, for example. And by the way, I have a customer who. I was Skyping with him just right before I started Skyping with you the other night, and he told me that day he'd had 10,000 downloads of one of his books. 10,000 downloads on Kindle of one of his books.
Whoa.
10,000. He showed me the stats, actually. He's really doing it. He's a really bright guy.
Just making a note of something that just came to mind as well, but I'll talk about it later. Anyway, I got the fast start, making lots of money. By the end of the year, I was making around about $10,000 a week. I had filled up every room in my house that I was renting, including the sleep out with staff. Like I was hiring people left, right, and center to help out. And then And I went on 2 round-the-world trips that year as well.
Oh wow.
I was spending way more than I should have, really.
Sure, I've been there, done
You know, I was
that.
only 20. I was only 20 years old. I mean, you know,
Yeah,
you do stupid things. Well,
sure.
maybe not that stupid. I don't really regret it. And then anyway, I ended up selling the website for $1 million. I didn't get a lawyer on board because I thought, what a waste of money spending, you know, like $20,000 on a lawyer to go through all this back and forth.
Yeah.
And I got burnt. I didn't get paid for it. I ended up spending almost $200,000 in lawyers' fees trying to chase it back. I think I probably would have won if I'd carried on, but it would have probably cost me $1 million, which I didn't have at that time. So in reality, yeah, things just went pear-shaped, and they got worse because I hadn't even been paying, hadn't paid my tax on all the
Oh
wages.
no.
So I ended up borrowing. Luckily, I knew a friend that owned a finance company. I ended up borrowing a further $80,000
Oh
from
my
him
gosh.
just to sort out my tax, so that I had it all paid before I before I got audited or anything. Which was
Yeah.
lucky because I did get audited not long after that.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
so that was quite lucky. So yeah, because I was just paying them cash, and I ended up paying all the tax on all their wages that they'd earned.
That's
Um,
extraordinary.
so yeah, everything was just going to custard. I had debt, you know, in the hundreds of thousands of dollars,
Wow.
and I had no income, and I
Yeah.
was a university student.
Right.
So you know, I was like starting to get kind of depressed. You know, I was like,
Mm.
it's quite scary, that situation.
Wow.
Has my screen gone blank for you? Or oh,
No,
sorry,
no.
back on now. Sorry,
Looking,
you
yeah,
blanked
looking
out, but
good.
you
Yeah,
you
no.
blanked out. Now you're
And,
back. Cool.
and even if I blank out, it's okay. Like you're the one who's big on the screen, so it's all
Cool.
good in the neighborhood. Well, all right. So what did you do from there? Because I've been in that place where I was, you know, tens and tens of thousands of dollars in debt, probably six figures in debt if I really added it all up. And you
Well,
know, you have to start all over. You
I
know,
I did I did what a normal person would do first.
you freaked out.
Yeah, got a job.
Oh, okay. Sure, sure.
Got a job working at an insurance company. I was a university student, right? Full-time university student, and at the same time I was working about 25 hours a week for an insurance company as well, answering the phones. Welcome to claims, speaking to Mark. Welcome to claims, you're speaking to Mark. Welcome to
Oh,
claims.
wow.
I was waking up in the middle of the night hearing that over and over again. Welcome to claims, you're speaking to Mark, blah, blah, blah,
Oh,
blah, blah.
wow.
It's the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
I couldn't handle it, not from the point of view of the lack of money I was making. I couldn't handle it from the point of view of the repetitiveness of the job and just not being able to
Well, especially
basically
you've done
read
such an
what I was
extraordinary
doing.
job of you built this amazing company, and now here you are doing this, you know, this task that you don't really want to do.
Yeah, well, one thing I did, I'm not entirely proud of it, but one thing I did was when I was on the night shifts, quite often would go through periods where I just wasn't getting calls. Okay, day shifts, I was getting them every, you know, straight away. I'd hang up the phone, there was another call. Nighttime, you know, I could go half an hour with no calls. So I decided to use my computer to start learning more about internet marketing
Yeah.
because I'd fluked my way to success the first time.
Right.
And in the contract, you see that I'd signed, I wasn't allowed to get into the same niches that I had previously been in. So I had to
Oh,
come up with something
wow. How
different.
devastating.
Yeah. So not only did I get ripped off and not get paid, but also due to a loophole, but I also had to come up with something completely different. So at least at that point in time, I did. You know, that period did lapse, but right then I had nothing I could do. So, or nothing I knew exactly what to do with. So anyway, I started learning a lot about affiliate marketing, which I already knew, but making my own products as well. Learned about um, copywriting. I learned about niches that I hadn't even thought of and how to find them and so forth. And then I went ahead and started making some of my own products, and also getting back into affiliate marketing, setting up websites on niches like dog training, and that turned out to be brilliant. And other niches that had a lot of people searching across a wide variety of search terms. And slowly but surely, it took me a lot longer. I crawled my way back up. I ended up quitting my job at State Insurance after being there for about, I think I'd been there for about 6 months. I ended up quitting because I had managed to get myself, it took me about 6 months of doing this to get myself back to $1,000 a week again.
Right.
But that was partly because I was a bit gun shy on it all again.
Yeah.
And then it took me a full 2 years before I'd paid back all of that debt. This time, though, I paid my student loan off as well, because the first time I was making money, I
Well, and
kept
that's
putting
a
it off.
that's a
And,
wonderful feeling to get that in the free and clear. And do you think, like, I mean, for a
that
lot
was
of
$40,000 as well.
yeah, well, and for a lot of people, like that would just be huge. Like the thought. So, what do you think? If you had to identify one or two keys that helped you get back from really deep in the hole to where you're finally at zero. You mentioned
One of the
copywriting.
biggest key points was I knew making money on. I knew, and a lot of people don't always know this. I knew that making money online isn't some scam. I knew I had made money online before, so I knew that it was there to be made.
Hmm.
You know,
So,
so
so in
that
a
was a
sense,
big advantage.
your own history was like a
Yeah.
turning point for yourself.
Well, yeah. I mean, like a lot of people get into make money online. They think a lot of people out there watching this. They think, oh, are people really making money online?
It's number
All
one
they've got is
question.
all they've got is their
That's
own
the
friends.
number one question that they have. Number one question, without a doubt.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about you, but I've got over 100 people on my Skype that have made over $1 million online.
Oh, sure.
I know a lot of people now, but the average person's not like that. It's like all their friends, the ceiling is something like maybe $70,000 a year. Maybe their rich friend earns $100,000 a year.
Oh,
Or
yeah.
something like
Yeah.
that. And or something, there's like this big ceiling. Whereas me and you, like, you could run a promotion, and if you really tried hard, you could make 100 grand next week if you
Oh,
had to.
yeah. No question. Just no
If you
question.
the
Absolutely
promotion.
no question.
Yeah, so it's like different world, and yeah, I just sort of I knew it all came down to um, you've got to have a product or be an affiliate of a product. It all came down to sales and conversions, and sticking really hardly at those metrics. Really, later on, I had other turning points which augmented that formula to include making multiple sales to the same customer, and so forth.
Yeah.
But yeah, but
Well,
no, that was big.
that's really interesting because if you and I could speak to folks watching right now, I wish there was a way for us to just reach into the camera and hold their hand and just say it's real, it's really really real, that money is out there to be made, and we want you to make it. Just like the same thing happened for Matt Carter. The same thing happened for my friend Kelly Felix. For my friend David Mills. David Mills is a friend of mine going years and years and years back, and now he's made just tons of money online.
Well, I think it's something like one in. I could be wrong. I think I've got this number right. I think it's something like 1 in 63 Americans is a millionaire.
Wow.
Okay, and a lot of them didn't do it by. Most of them didn't do it by just having some high-paying job and saving up money over the years. Some of them did.
Right.
They ended up buying property and on the side, and it kind of grew in value and so forth. But a lot of them came down to being business owners, not necessarily online business owners. That's a relatively new thing for the world. Last 20 years or so. But you do know, and I think most people know, that money isn't really made by trading your time for money. It is made by it's made by basically having a product, whether you're the affiliate or whether you're the product owner. It's made by having some sort of product that's being sold, and you can make money while you sleep,
Yeah.
essentially. Whether you're a franchise owner of a whole bunch of restaurants, or whether you're somebody who runs an online business where anyone in the world can buy your product and just download it.
So to make that first turning point a little bit more distinct, that first turning point
Yeah,
from when you went from buried in debt to finally back at break even. And of course, once you're back at break even, it's exciting because you're making money. Then it's not just the belief, but it's the belief that you can sell a product and make money while you're sleeping.
I just knew, because I'd seen it happen before already, you see, so I had that bit of help. I knew, okay, I can go to, at that point in time, it was the Overture suggestion tool,
Right.
which became the Yahoo
Oh,
keyword
it
tool,
was
but it's the equivalent of
incredibly
the
important. Yeah, incredibly
it's the
important tool.
equivalent of the Google keyword tool now.
Yeah.
Anyway, basically, I knew that all I had to do was look up what people were searching for, and then put up some sort of article on that topic on a website and promote a relevant product to those people.
Right.
And I knew, if people were typing in aggressive German Shepherd,
Yeah,
then they will buy a dog training product,
that's right.
or at least some of them
They
will.
have a burning need.
And I always aimed for 1% as my conversion rate. Some people think that's low. And it was like, oh, but if I knew I could get 1,000 visitors a day, 1%, that's 10 sales a day, $37, paying 75% commission. That ends up being a lot of money. And then that's just one little website going. Well, then I had other websites. So I got into some niches that, I'm not 100% proud of, but I'll be honest with you guys, like DVD copying. I got into that niche and made good money there. But then once I saw 321 Studios had the lawsuit or something about DVD copying, I decided, nah, I'm good enough to make money without doing that kind of thing. I just wasn't 100% sure on the legality of it all, because the claims of the product owners was like, it's for copying your wedding videos and stuff like that. But I knew people were copying movies, so I decided to pull out of those kinds of niches, which didn't seem to harm things at all, because it was pretty easy to find other niches anyway that have done very, very well for me over time.
Definitely good place.
But yeah, just sort of like filling in on the real story. So
yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Kelly was actually in. He was in credit repair. He was in foreign pharmacy, like the whole foreign pharmacy thing, which is definitely a gray area. Right. He was in some gambling niches and stuff like that. So
I did gambling as well. I had it because I was earning $40 commission from everybody that signed up at a different online casino. So what do you do? Well, you just get. I got my girlfriend at the time, who is now my wife, to. I paid her to just jump on and review different gambling sites. All she did was screenshotted all the games, showed how to play them, gave a little review. I had about 40 different gambling sites reviewed, lots of screenshots. Yeah. People would just come to the website and check out the review, and then they would go and join about 5 of the gambling sites, and I'd earn $40 commission for every site someone signed up to. That was before I think it became illegal. Is it legal online gambling in the United States? Or
I'm not sure exactly what the status is. There was definitely a big shakeup a few years ago.
Yeah, but I ended up deciding I don't really want to get in. I ended up just deciding, no, I'm just going to do only niches that my parents would be proud of me for. So I sort of got rid of all of those. Well, mostly, I think the dodgiest niche I've got, and it's not really dodgy, is on made a product called Kissing 101 on how to kiss.
Oh, but I don't Kissing 101. Ah.
Yeah, my wife actually wrote that book under a pen. But yeah, she wrote it. Yeah,
that's great.
But yeah, it's not really dodgy. It's not like it's.
No, I've got $1 million pickup site. Area 51 Lifestyle is me. So I mean, I know exactly what you mean. Like working with mystery and stuff like that, and it's definitely a little bit risque and a little bit exciting.
I have to talk to you at some stage. I am in the dating niche too.
Yeah. We can hook it up. I have a 85 or 90,000 person list that I built all off of YouTube. And SEO for that's good stuff.
Yeah, I've got similar size lists in that niche. I've actually got a bigger list, but it's in the women looking for men. But I've got one about that size in the men looking for women.
Yeah. Travis Sago's got a new promotion for women looking for men. I'll let you know about it when we're done. Girl Gets Ring. He says it's promoting super, super well. But anyways,
that sounds good. Yeah, we'll carry on.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Well, but I actually think it's very nice for somebody to watch. Obviously, we're not going to carry on and on like that, but for folks to see that this is the kind of conversation that Mark and I would be having. This is natural. This is real for us. And there's no reason that this can't be you. Maybe it's not 6 months from now, but certainly it could be a year or two from now. There's no reason that it couldn't be.
Yeah. I'll get into just some of the other things that have proven to be big things. I'll sort of distill down the stories a bit quicker now.
Sure.
When I was making about $250,000 a year in sales, or just, it might have even been in profit by then, I wasn't doing any email marketing. And so I got into email marketing because I saw everyone else was doing email marketing, and I wasn't even capturing leads or bothering to set up an autoresponder or anything. 90 days later, income was pretty much doubled.
Wow.
90 days. So that just goes to show, for anyone out there listening, if you want to double your income and you haven't done email marketing, then it's just so powerful following up with your leads.
Yeah.
I probably make more than double from email marketing now. That was just back then, but that was without even doing a lot of live promotions. That was just from following up with autoresponder messages. But you know how it is, Mike, when it comes to doing what happens if you're promoting someone's live launch, then things can go huge. If you really sending you a whole list or something.
Well,
So
I know that you and I both in the last few months have had promotions where we've sold over 1,000 units of a given launch, and I know you did on Matt Carter's. You went completely nuts on it. I think you did overall gross. Obviously there's going to be some refunds and so forth, but well into six figures on that launch alone.
yeah, it was pretty huge. I'm not sure the exact numbers, but yeah, there or thereabouts. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've done six figures in a few launches, not loads launches. Most launches, depending on the niche, I'll average between around $20,000 if it's in the make money niche, 10,000 maybe if it's in the dating niche. Commissions, be like an average, and then sometimes though you get one that just spikes for whatever reason. You end up making, over 100,000 in
Yeah.
commissions. I've had the occasion, not that often, but I do get.
Yeah, and
some
we're
that.
not talking about something that happens necessarily every day, but we're just saying as you
Yeah,
go along with the email marketing, you're in this feedback loop with your list. You're talking back and forth with these individuals, and then
yeah.
every once in a while you hit a hot button and you just keep pushing it and pushing it, and next thing you know, it really blows up.
Yeah, yeah, but at the same time, the autoresponder, you're still making money from that as well, you know.
Yeah.
Then okay, so email marketing. Then it's I increased what we were making by, it might not have been double, it might have been like by 50%, but maybe over time it's turned out to be double when we started introducing one-time offers. Would you believe I was making like really good money both as an affiliate and as a product owner? About
Yeah.
half and half. That's what story of my career has basically been about, half and half. First few years was just affiliate stuff, but then it was half and half on
Yeah, you
product
start making
development.
your own products because obviously your products have just
Yeah,
such an outstanding
but
reputation.
no one-time offers, no back-end
Yeah, no
products,
back end. It's
nothing.
crazy.
People could only get the product, and that was it. They'd buy my dog training product, that's it. They'd buy my how to
Yeah,
speak Spanish product, that's it. No level two, no nothing else, that's
yeah.
it. And oh, it was crazy how much extra we were making once we started finally being like one of the
Well,
latest
and your
to it,
customers
getting
are
into.
happier then too. I mean, your customers because
Yeah,
they're with you for a reason. They're betting on you with their wallets. They want more, and that's wonderful.
yeah, yeah, and it makes sense. I mean, whenever I go to Amazon.com, because I buy stuff from there all the time,
Yep.
like business books and what have you, toys for the kids. It's very rare that I go and buy one thing without adding a few extra items to my
Forget
cart.
about it. Never happens
Very
for
rare.
me. Never happens
Yeah,
for me. Yeah, I don't. I can't remember the last time. Yeah, like
people are like that when they go visit your product.
yeah,
They'll go ahead and they'll see something else like on the one-time offer. You give them a couple of things, and a lot of them, as long as you're doing something pretty relevant, a lot of them will take it.
yeah. And if they're not taking it, then just try something slightly different. I mean, what's the problem? If one
Absolutely.
upsell isn't converting, then either reposition it or go to another upsell. It's just no big deal.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And if you're not sure what's going to sell, you just send out a survey to your list and say, like, is there stuff that wasn't covered or it wasn't in our product that you wished was in it, or things like that, and your list will tell you very, very quickly.
Yeah, and then just
Uh,
bolt that on. Now, you've also had significant success with. I know you're somebody who, me and Kelly don't have a lot of employees, but you're somebody who you're really used to and you're really comfortable with working with a lot of employees. You actually also were really to ramp things up through outsourcing as well.
Yeah, yeah, because I started out with my staff. I'd always just hired university students because I was a university student, so that was obvious. So I'd go post on the notice board at the university and get staff. That's how I first started getting staff.
That's great.
Then I started advertising in the paper, and I'd get people in and do interviews and what have you. And I'd have to get more space, and they all used to come to my house. But then eventually, I ended up getting an office and that kind of thing, and that worked out a lot better for me personally. I liked that actually. Not everyone does. Some people rather work from home.
Yeah.
So it's up to whatever the individual really.
Yeah, and
I
also
think
your family
most people.
situation and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think most people like working from home. I kind of like the mixture, a little bit at
Sure,
home, but rather just go to the office. That's just me personally.
sure.
You can do it either way. But yeah, once I started hiring well, actually, I started in India, and I had just terrible results there for a lot of reasons. So I even went out there to visit them in India, and I found out from talking to the staff that when we'd given them bonuses and stuff, that the company we'd been going through had just been pocketing them and not passing them on, and
That's
that the
awful.
staff were on way lower wages than we thought they were on. Didn't realise, like we thought that they were on a lot higher, but they weren't. But so we decided, no, you can't really go through a company because you can't trust them. We actually have to hire the staff directly.
Okay,
So then I ended up.
so a big thing for you, actually, like a turning point for you was not just so much outsourcing, but outsourcing more to individuals than to some sort of a broker.
Yeah, that's one thing. So yeah, I'm not talking about one-off outsourcing, by the way, like through Elance and stuff. That's different. Like, if you want to get an ebook made and you're done and dusted with someone, you hire someone that's good or bad or whatever, and that's a different story, and that could take a whole conversation in of itself. I'm just talking about when you're getting full-time staff working for you.
Yeah.
And what I found when I went to the hiring staff in the Philippines was that A, they spoke much better English. B, their culture was a lot more similar, so it was a lot easier to get the nuances and stuff and what's going on. So I found I can talk at the same speed as I'm talking to you right now, and they could understand me.
Right.
With the Indians, I had to speak like this and really enunciate everything.
Right.
And then I would still just get, yes, sir. Yes, we can do this.
Right. Right.
Like all the time.
Garbage
and they
in, garbage out.
Yeah. And I'm not being racist here. There's a lot of people that are great workers from India. Don't get me wrong. I'm talking about this particular company anyway.
Yeah, and if there are cultural barriers, there are cultural barriers. Like we've all worked with really successful, really powerful Indian outsourcers. We've also worked with really successful, really powerful outsourcers from other places. But if a place is a mess, if it's not working for you, this is something that did work for you. It's one of the reasons why we're here right now is getting your turning points.
And a bad thing also about going to a company is that you don't get to necessarily choose the best. You don't get to hire the best.
Right.
Okay. And also with the Indian company, I found that they kept on, like, we'd train them up and they'd be doing really well or doing okay, and then bam, they would just forget things and we'd have to retrain them again. And I couldn't understand what was going on.
Yeah.
They would change staff members on us without telling us.
Yeah.
It was just annoying. Like, one guy would leave and they'd just get another one in and tell them to to carry on under the same name.
So there's a constant learning curve there. And by the way, like I think that this really does scale to one-off situations, where you have to understand that people outsource things that they don't understand, and it's a constant hassle, and it's a train wreck. If you try to outsource something you don't understand, then that's a problem in and of itself. If you don't take the time to help the person who you're outsourcing to understand, then you're like quadrupling the problem. I mean, it really, you're just wasting time at that point.
Right. Yeah. So anyway, when I decided to go with the Philippines, I decided to go there because I got talked into it by another friend of mine that had just one Filipino working for them, and I chatted with that Filipino, and I was amazed. They actually sounded like an American on the phone. They'd lived in America actually and gone to high school there, and now they're back in the Philippines, and they were like really good English. I was astounded, and so that really sold me on it, and I got them to hire one of their friends to be my how do I say it? I decided the first person I wanted was a project manager. I wanted someone that could not just be a project manager, more of a human resources manager. I knew I was going to hire more staff if I was going to make this work.
Right.
If I was just going to have one staff member, I may as well just hire someone from New Zealand.
Right.
I knew that the whole point of this was to hire lots of staff.
To kind of build a team.
Yeah, so I had someone that had experience. I got someone that had experience at hiring staff, and that I knew would be able to help manage those staff. Okay, I taught them how to use the system that we use in New Zealand for managing our staff. We use Clocking It, CLOCK, clockingit.com. It's free. We used to use a service called Basecamp, but we found this one to be a lot better.
Yeah, I don't like Basecamp. I've used it. I don't like it.
Yeah, we didn't switch because clocking it's free. We switched because we actually found it better,
Awesome.
for a lot of reasons. Like staff, if they're working on something, I can see what they're working on right now because they'll be clocked into that task. Whereas with Basecamp, they had to enter it in afterwards what they'd just done.
Yep.
There's a lot of frustrations there. This was all done open source, so the guys kept on building on it, and you give them a donation, and they'll whack in a new feature for you, and it's been fantastic.
That's great.
Yeah, yeah. So like we've got our own little custom version of clocking it that's actually different, a little different than what the average person has, just because we asked them to customize it. And
So
it was awesome.
you have a few sneaky things built in there.
Yeah. But I mean, essentially, it's clocking it, and clocking it even as it is, it's damn good for free. So anyway, we used that. I used another piece of software called RescueTime.com because I decided that I wanted to know what people were doing on their computers. So that means if somebody's productivity was less than, say, what I expect the rescue time to look like on, say, one of my New Zealand staff members, then, and not every New Zealand staff member has it running, but I tell the staff, and they're quite happy, that I like to have it running because I want to know if my Filipinos are being as productive as they should be.
Yeah.
And if ever I see someone, they've been spending too much time on Skype, or they've been on playing World of Warcraft or something like that, I can have a good conversation with them, and then
Sure.
they're like, never happens again. It's fantastic.
I love that.
Yeah.
So it tells
It
you
works out.
it tells you what tasks they have open and such.
It doesn't tell you live what they're doing. That would be good, but no, it doesn't tell you that. You can get software that does that if you're in the office, but in terms of over the internet, I haven't seen one that tells you live. But what it does do is it tells you the amount of time they've spent on each thing, as a summary at the end of the day, and you can see all their Skype, who they've been chatting to, and all that sort of stuff.
Oh wow.
So if it's a non-staff member or whatever. So and I tell people when they start working for us, the privilege of working for us in the Philippines. One of the privileges for you is you get to work from home. And so it's not because we don't trust you. It's just because we've found that as a process that it works better if we run rescue time, because it means it's not just for you. It's just a thing we do for everybody, just to keep everyone on track. It also means that you can look at your own stats and look at your own productivity, and you can identify your own areas where you can improve. So try to word it like that.
I think that's kind of a nice idea, because I really find that people oftentimes are doing truly non-productive things like yakking away on Skype and it feels productive, but if you really look at it at the end of the day, it probably didn't make you money, like a lot of times.
Yeah, and I find that as long as you're upfront about things, people are great about it, right from the start. And also, I believe, as long as you've hired right to begin with, I believe that most people that work for you actually do want to do a great job.
Absolutely.
It's much more fulfilling to progress your career and to get a flow on when you're working than it is to just pretend to be working and not work. I mean, people don't really enjoy doing that as a state of mind. Not if you hire the right people anyway.
Yeah.
And then that brings me to the next point about outsourcing, was that I'd always request that my outsource person that was hiring the staff, I would do the final hiring of the last few candidates, but I would always request that she tries her best to get at least 60 applicants for a position. So we're always trying to pick the best person out of 60. So that's the problem with India. We would just get the guy that they handed us.
Right.
As opposed to, we've got all of these guys and we're going to pick the top guy.
Right. And then you ended up with a much better product. I think this is very valuable.
Yeah.
I didn't know we were going to get into these details, but for me, I love hearing this.
Oh, if you're happy with it, then I thought I may as well add it in.
And I'll tell you why I think it matters, because I see how this transfers. If somebody's watching this right now, they might be saying to themselves, well, look, I'm not outsourcing anybody, but you know what? Like, now you know what Mark's expectations of somebody who's working for him are, which means that these are Mark's expectations for Mark. Like, because that must be what you're doing. Like, you must be applying the same standard that you have for yourself that's made you successful.
Yeah, you might put it this way. Someone watching this, if you're not hiring a full-time outsourcer to do your tech support or something like that, then at the very least you might hire someone on Elance to do a single project for you. Maybe writing a 10,000 word ebook or 20,000 word ebook or something.
Or
I don't know.
Articles for you. I mean,
or a bunch of articles. You might be hiring someone for all sorts of things.
I mean,
And
and with SEO, there's all kinds of things: link getting and article
yeah,
spinning, and I mean, give me a break.
yeah, and you always want to get the best person out of a lot of people. And when it comes down to it, sometimes you've got to test. Look, like when it comes to Elance, I like to get a lot of applicants. I like to see samples of their work, and then I like to test them out maybe on a smaller project before giving them the big one. So, for instance, recently I had somebody write a short report, like a 4,000 word mini report kind of thing that I could use as an opt-in. I got them to do that first, right? It might have been 8,000 words, I can't remember. Got them to do that first, and then after that, I hired them to write I think it's 60,000 word book.
Oh wow!
So it's going to be
Huge
about
difference.
140 pages.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't want to invest that much into them until I'd seen what they can do for me first. The other way around, yeah, I'd seen their sample work, but that's not enough. That doesn't show me how well they're going to work with me
Oh
or take
yeah.
instructions or whatever.
Or the timing and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
And also,
yeah,
I found in business, if someone's going to screw you, they screw you right away. I've really found that again and again. It's just constantly true. They'll just basically do
yeah.
it right
It's a
off
good
of
point.
Jump Street. And so my point is
Good
then
point.
if you have a good record, I'm not saying that that's 100%, but it's a very high percentage. And that way, if you have somebody good, then you're at least making not an educated guess, you're making a smart guess.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, I could go on all day about all the stuff we do with outsourcing, um,
But people care about
I
outsourcing.
guess
They understand that it's very
yeah,
powerful. And one more thing I want to kind of highlight here is whatever expectations that Mark, I'm not talking to you as if you're not here, but of course I'm talking to the viewer. Any
yeah,
expectation that Mark has of his outsourcers, ultimately he has that same expectation of himself. Ultimately, these are the standards that he holds for himself were he to do that job. And so then if you're doing a job, you're learning about like how Mark would do it, which is part of the reason why you listen to this interview is, if you're looking through Mark's eyes, then how would Mark, if Mark had to write this ebook, then he would, kind of have this certain level of accountability to himself. He would, not wanting to be screwing around on Skype and, playing World of Warcraft and have his, focus all kind of fractured. He'd want to be, developing a good, strong reputation for himself. If he's working as an outsourcer, if he's writing an article, for somebody else. Not that he's having to do these things, but my point is that
yeah,
that our standards tend to be the same. So it actually really applies. Of course, it's a hugely valuable outsourcing lesson. That goes without saying, and it is hugely valuable. But I also enjoy hearing about it myself because you're getting to meet somebody here, Mark, with Mark, who's a hugely successful guy. Or if you already know Mark, then you're getting to know a heck of a lot more about him now than you would have before, and you're getting to see through his eyes. And the way he's applying this process, first of all, you see he's passionate about outsourcing, so you learn that. But you're also like learning about his standards and how he works with people, how he makes deals. You're learning a lot about deal making from Mark here. I mean, I'm kind of expanding upon this because there's a lot of lessons here that could
absolutely,
just
yeah,
fly by you if I didn't point them out right now.
yeah. No, totally, totally. I get what you're saying there. Also, like just another tip, and I don't know if this will apply to many of you guys at all because it's probably more of an advanced tip, but I thought I'd just throw it in there while it just popped into my head, was like if you're hiring programmers to work for you full time,
Hmm.
one thing that I found, because I've hired a lot of programmers over the years, and I've even worked alongside to help out consulting with other programming related companies, like people that do anti-spam software and all sorts of
Right.
things. And I have found that the best programmers are not necessarily people that have any experience in a particular type of programming language. I find a good programmer, like, I would rather have, let's say I was developing iPhone apps, which I am doing
Yep.
right now.
Yep.
I found I would rather have somebody that was a genius, fantastic PHP programmer
Right.
and get them to learn how to make iPhone apps than somebody that has experience in building iPhone apps but is mediocre or is
Wow.
good but you know
Well, I mean,
isn't
ultimately,
great.
when those two guys are head
It's
to head, you're going to pick the one who has demonstrated greatness at one thing rather than someone
I,
who's already mediocre at something else.
I well yeah or is okay, but I put um, when it comes to programming, and it's different for other things, but when it comes to programming, I tend to find it's better to put little weight on experience and more weight on, how do I say it, more weight on potential as a programmer, because it doesn't take them very long at all to switch languages. It
Right.
does take them a long time to, or if ever, for them to just become damn good. Like, what you need is, when it comes to programmers, is people that are very, very good at solving problems, and they'll learn the key, the crux of a language within doing it for about 4 weeks for you.
Yeah.
They'll easily switch from C++ to PHP to JavaScript to, to Objective C to whatever
Yeah.
it might be.
And
They'll switch
they'll be able to
pretty
integrate those
quickly,
things
but
if they need to.
yeah, they'll switch languages easily. That's not an issue. And people that don't know programming, they always try to, look for someone that's got experience in that particular programming language, etc. But that's not actually. It can be important, yes, if two guys are equal, yes, of course. But I've actually found, no, it's actually better just to get, like, there's places online where you can get programmers to sit programming tests and stuff. It's better to just ask them, look, what's your best language? Okay, I'll get you to sit it in that language. And if they turn out to be in the top, say, 5% or 1% even of programmers in that language in the world,
Now,
according
where
to the
can you get
test,
these
then I would
programming
rather.
tests? Where do these programming tests? Where can you find them?
You can find them online. I just sort of forgot off the top of my head what the names of the websites are. I might have to message that to you afterwards.
Okay.
Um, what was it called again? Expert. Oh, expert something. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Okay,
Sorry.
yeah. Well, I'm going to create a companion guide to go with
Actually,
this
I'm just
video
gonna.
anyway. And so if you find it right now, I'll be
I'll
including all of these
just.
links in the highlights of what we're talking about. So that'll be great.
Yeah, I remember. Expertrating.com.
Excellent.
Expertrating.com. They've got really, really good tests for programmers. They've tested, hundreds of thousands of programmers.
Hundreds
So
of thousands.
across a lot of different types of tests. So if you go ahead or at least tens of thousands anyway, and so
Wait,
if you.
maybe I'm misunderstanding something. How is it possible that you've tested tens of thousands of programmers?
No, they have.
Oh, they
Not
have.
me.
I thought you had. I was like, what are you
No,
talking
no,
about?
but that's the good thing about them. So I'll get a
Very
programmer. They'll
cool.
go
Very
through
cool.
their test. Cost me $10 for them to
Yeah.
sit the programming test. Okay,
Yeah.
so they go through, they sit the test, and they'll tell me right. That programmer at PHP is in the top 30th percentile, meaning that they're better than if they were in 100 programmers were standing in a line, they would be around about number 30.
Right.
Okay, they would be in the
Right.
top 30, but they would not be in the top.
Is there a
But they'd be.
threshold that you try to go for, like top 10, top 5, top 20?
Yeah, just depends on what I'm getting them to do, really. I'm quite happy with top 20 if I know, like, this work is not going to be fulfilling for someone that's in the top 1%.
Okay.
Top 20, you can get a damn good programmer that's in the top 20th percentile. They're better than 4 out of every 5 programmers going around.
Right.
Okay, so that turns out to be pretty good. So if I'm getting someone that's doing things like WordPress plugins, modifying my WordPress themes, all sorts of stuff like that, yeah, I'll hire someone like. I'll be happy with top 20th percentile. If I've got some stuff that's really whizzy and quasi algorithmic stuff, and I don't know, it's just constantly learning new things at a rate of knots, then I'll be wanting them in the top 5%.
Awesome. That's a great lesson. Now, do you have some insights? You began this, and I know that this is on the back of people's minds. I'm going to get big cheers from the audience for twisting your arm a little bit to find out a little bit more. Do you have some more
Yeah.
insights on Kindle and the App Store? Because obviously you're having great success with that, and you can only go
Well,
so far with it. But
yeah, I mean, I've basically just been, and I'm still early days at the moment, very early days at the moment. I haven't got any success with Kindle because I haven't tried it yet,
Sure.
although I am intending upon doing it. Okay, one thing that I've learned over the years that I forgot to even mention, it's probably been the most critical thing about all my success, has been, in general, at least since 2005, I have, because I keep coming up with so many ideas and stuff I like to work on, and like I found it hard to just sit still on one single idea, which is what you should be doing. But
yeah,
I know in myself my own sort of weaknesses, my Achilles heel is I keep jumping and jumping to too many things. So my way around that was to always try to own 50% of a business and have somebody else that is dedicated to that business. So when it
right.
came to the iPhone apps, I had a friend of mine who was, he was just working. He was working as what was he doing? He was managing, like, he was doing some sort of internet work. He used to be a graphic designer. Anyway, he was doing some sort of internet work with this company. I said, look, how about you quit your job, and what we'll do is I'll put X amount of dollars into a bank account, and we'll start this company, and we'll build iPhone apps. And the key is that, I mean, you know that I jump around and I do all sorts of other businesses, but what I'm doing is I'm supplying my knowledge, expertise. So I'll meet with you a couple of times a week, and I'll put in a whole bunch of funds into the account, and we'll let it roll and see what happens. And, you know, then my expectation of him was that he's not running any other businesses. He's focused on this one thing. And he was happy with that, though. He, like, you know, some people won't be happy with that. They'll be like, well, I don't want to partner with you because, you know, one minute you're doing the iPhone apps, next minute you're into Kindle, next minute you're into this or that. He was quite happy with that.
Right.
So some people are happy with that because they're like, well, on the plus side, I'm bringing a lot of expertise from a wide variety of different places. That, like, I've learned knowledge from lots of places, so I can see at a level that maybe you never would if you were only stuck doing one thing.
Yeah,
so
I'm sure a lot of people who are sitting here right now, if you made them that offer, they would jump at it. I think that they can see the value of it.
Yeah, so that's no, that's proved to be really valuable because, you know, I've seen some people try to do a whole lot of things, but they own 100% of each company themselves, and it's really hard without business partners. I mean, the reason I've done well with a lot of the things, it's not been me, it's been my business partner. Usually my business partners wind up being better than me.
Yeah.
It seems to happen, and that's because they're able to stay focused. They may start behind, but then they wind up going ahead of me.
Well, and like you said, there's so much power in staying focused on something. Then they're just getting better and better and better at that thing, and then you're just, you know, off the charts. I mean, you're in such a powerful position then.
Yeah. So yeah, no, that's probably been like the biggest secret for the success of some of my companies. Like, people have been like, how'd you get Rocket Languages going well? It's like, actually, I've probably got to play about 90-something% of the success to my business partner in that company, Jason, who's, you know, I was definitely, you know, 50-50 or even more than 50-50 maybe in the first 12 months of it.
Right.
You know, getting it off the ground, getting it going, getting it rollicking along, and then I don't know where it happened, but there was somehow or other, just over the time, he just took over more and more and got better and better. And I mean, like, he's like better at business than I am.
That's awesome.
Like, he's really, you know, really incredible. You know, he's got that ability to stay very tightly focused. Like, you know, and in particular in that particular niche, he's extremely good.
Yeah.
You know, and the same thing happens in the internet marketing niche. A lot of people don't know, but I only own half of Affiliarama. The other half's owned by my business partner Simon, who manages all the staff. He does everything.
We've gone back and forth with Simon. He's brilliant. He's great to work with.
Yeah, and he is better than me. He just doesn't. He's just not prepared to be a face of a company. You'll see him on some blog posts, but he doesn't want to, like, jump on webinars and stuff like that. But he doesn't have time because he's sitting there managing all our staff, and, you know, so that gives me the freedom.
Have you seen now? Is it the same with Traffic Travis, or is that just exclusively you?
That's part of Affiliarama, Traffic Travis, Sale Who. That's all of me and Simon. Just
very cool. Very cool. Yeah. We've really enjoyed going back and forth with him. Well, now, so is there anything specific to the actual app market that you've learned? Because obviously you've come a long way.
Sorry, I went off target there. Specific to the actual app market, I just did exactly what I did back in the day, back in '99. I was just looking up, or maybe this is my second time around. I was just looking up keywords, thinking, okay, what can I build an app around?
Is there a specific good tool for keyword research for apps, or do you just use like Traffic Travis or Google Keyword Tool?
Just Traffic Travis or even the Google Keyword Tool, and you could think of anything. You could think of a celebrity name like Kim Kardashian.
Yeah.
You could think a how-to thing like I don't know, how to train a dog, or German Shepherd training, Golden Retriever training, Poodle training, whatever it might be, and build an app around it. I started out by using some of the free app builders out there, right? Problem was that they had advertising in the apps, and I was wanting to charge for my app. So then I had to pay to use them, and they charge like $50 or $70 a month per app, which it's pretty expensive. Although it's not that bad though when you're making quite a lot of money per day with your app. Like some apps are making me over $100 a day, other apps are making me $10 a day. It's still more than $70 a month. But
Right.
it's annoying. But the other annoying thing was that the App Store started quite often rejects those apps because they see them as too cookie cutter. They think, well, that could have just been up on a website. You're not using
Right.
enough of Apple's native functionality. So specifically to do well in the App Store, I ended up taking a couple of my programmers who are very good already at PHP programming. They've been doing PHP programming for me for years.
Yeah.
And I said to them, I want you to learn how to make iPhone apps.
That's so cool.
Um, and they learned how to do the native functionality of iPhone apps and everything within, they learned a lot of stuff within 2 weeks.
Wow.
Within 6 weeks, they were already better than a lot of applicants, pretty much all the applicants, in fact, that we had when we tried to advertise for an iPhone
Right.
developer.
That's great.
So, yeah, so now,
So much of it is really about the infrastructure because people are
yeah,
really having trouble with infrastructure in that market. It's new. They don't know how to put this stuff together. The cookie cutter options out there just aren't that great. They're not going to pop for people. And so, like, really getting ahead of the game when it comes to infrastructure was a big key for you.
yeah, because now, like, if I'm building apps, like we've got our own custom thing. Yeah, it's kind of cookie cutter, but it's our own cookie cutter. No one else is building cookie cutter apps like our apps. Um, so it just means that we've got that ability, and we're adding more and more features. Like right now, the next thing that we're doing is we're building little quiz apps, where people can, like, for instance, we might have something like, we haven't done it yet, but maybe say Justin Bieber quiz or
Ooh,
whatever,
I
or
love
something
that.
like that, or
Yeah.
maybe I'll call it the Justin Bieber challenge. And then what happens is fans of Justin Bieber would see this app,
Oh,
right? I might make it
yeah.
free, and maybe the first 4 levels of quiz might be like 10 questions, and you have to get maybe 8 out of 10 right to progress to the next level. Once you get through 4 levels, it'll say, look, okay, it'll say like you're at, maybe you've earned 4 stars out of, maybe there's 20 stars to earn to be the ultimate fan or something like that,
Right.
and maybe you have to pay 99 cents to get another 4 levels. So eventually, to get to the end of level 20, you might have had to have paid $5.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I was thinking of like getting them to program something like that, because that's sort of, you know, it's something that can be very easily put together. It's
Yeah.
all based, but it can be really, really cool. Have some cool graphics. I can have some things
Yes,
bouncing around,
some things are kind
and
of rewarding when they get to some certain level. Maybe they see Justin dancing around, or
yeah,
maybe
they can
maybe at the
jazz.
next level he blows them a kiss, or who knows? Because obviously it's not going to be girls.
Well, yeah, or it could, yeah. They can have badges. They can click post to Facebook if they want to. They could
Yeah.
see. They could even see where they rank in the world. It's like you are world number, or you're in the top 40% of Justin Bieber fans, or you are now in the elite mega Justin Bieber fans, or something like that.
That's cool. I
Just
like that.
thinking out
That's
loud.
fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
No,
I'm just
I
thinking
was
out.
a big
There's
American
lots of
football fan growing up as a kid, and I knew all these stats. And if there had been like a little iPhone app that's like, "You're the ultimate Cleveland Browns fan," I would have been like,
yeah,
"Yeah."
yeah. I know. I'm like that with cricket myself,
Oh yeah.
or with, yeah, or even with WWE to an extent.
Oh, I love me some WWE.
Yeah. I know. I'm thinking of going to SummerSlam this year
Good
already.
for
I'm just,
you. Oh man,
yeah,
I'm jealous. That's
um,
great.
yeah, and like, but yeah, that's another app that we're thinking of doing. Like the big WWE app, WWE
Because you
quiz.
actually got your
And
start with like a lot of celebrity stuff at the very beginning. I was sort of reading
yeah,
about that.
yeah, I did. Yeah, because lots of people were searching for different celebs. So then, what do you know?
But
They're
you look
searching
how
for
big
celebs today on
TMZ
the app.
is. Like TMZ.com is like this hugely popular site, and people are just like
Mm,
going there to see celebrity news. What's Kim Kardashian's butt doing today, or whatever.
yeah.
It's just extraordinary. Well,
Oh,
Mark, I asked you if you'd meet with me for like 20 minutes, and you've really gone the distance. We're running up on an hour here. I want to thank you so much on behalf of, and I'm not trying to cut you off. If you want to keep going, that's great. But I mean, I know you've got, yeah, I'm sure other things that you have to get to. Is there anything else that you want to offer up, either about apps or about anything else before you go?
but
Sure.
yeah,
Well, okay, I'm back with Mark. Skype cut out on us just for a second, but we're gonna wrap things up. We're right around the hour mark, which is extraordinary because we'd really only planned to go 20 or 30 minutes. But Mark is just so generous and just such a wellspring of killer ideas. I'm sure everyone's writing hand is tired now from writing down all the notes and stuff like that. I don't know if you wanted to say anything to kind of wrap things up, but I'm really moved by what we did, and I just think it's extraordinary.
No, I just hope people just keep persisting. Take action with what you learn, basically. Some people say, well, when is the time to give up? And it's like giving up shouldn't even be in the vocabulary.
Especially not with internet marketing.
Yeah.
There are
No,
other
no.
marketers, but internet marketing is the ultimate way to make your money. It's just absolutely the best
I
way.
know it's
Bar
yeah,
none.
no, yeah, absolutely. In fact, just leave it with one quick story. There's a guy I saw on TV last year who ran the New York Marathon. He has no arms and no legs,
Oh, wow.
and did the New York Marathon. He took about almost 5 days to actually finish.
Oh my
Okay.
gosh. How did he do it?
I don't know. He had prosthetics and stuff, and
Crazy.
anyway, some people are like, oh, he took 5 days to get there, and I'm like, well, he got there before I did because
Yeah.
at least he was in the race, and he
Right.
made it there. And it's the same thing with internet marketing or any sort of way of making money that's legit like this is.
Yeah.
The key thing, it doesn't really matter if you stumble along the way and you take longer than the average person or anything like that. That's not the end of the world. The key is that you're in the race and you stay on the yellow brick road or stay on the marathon course, and if you keep moving forwards, then sooner or later you will cross the finish line.
Yeah.
So
And especially with internet marketing, I really want to kind of make this point. Internet marketing is different than any other opportunity that's ever existed to make money in world history, and it's not even close. It is not even close. I would not trade my business that I do with Kelly and Dave, with Kelly Felix and David Mills. I wouldn't trade it for Apple computers. I'm serious. I wouldn't. I just
I would trade mine for Apple
really
if
I
I was to
wouldn't.
own.
No,
Yeah.
you like employees and stuff like that, not us. I don't
Fair
like
enough.
I don't like that stuff. I mean, my point is
Wow.
I don't have to go anywhere. I just sit at home
I get what you're saying.
and
Yeah.
make loads of money. People don't have expectations of me. I can turn off my
Yep.
phone, turn off my computer. I have customers who love me. I don't have like a
Yeah.
big target sign on my head for regulation and for all this
Okay.
stuff.
Yeah. I get what you're saying. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, because once I start talking about it, like all those things, like it sounds good at first to have Apple computers until you realize it's a lot of headache.
Oh yeah, but then I could sell all my shares and then start
And
start
then
something
you'd
else.
start an internet marketing company, wouldn't you?
Well, I'm just saying,
Yeah. Well,
I wouldn't turn down a few $1 billion if it was just handed to me.
well, fair enough. But if you actually had to work that,
I get
job,
what you mean.
like,
Yeah.
and that's kind of my point is that what we have here is that just an extraordinary situation. If you're starting from scratch, you would just
Yeah.
start with internet marketing. You wouldn't start
Uh,
making computers. You wouldn't start
No,
making
I mean,
shoes.
put it this
You
way: compared to say the CEO of Apple, I think it's Tim Cook right now.
Yeah.
Compared to him, or even Steve Jobs before that, I work 30 to 35 hours a week.
Yeah.
And it's pretty rare that I go over that. I just can't because I've got kids. I used to
Yeah.
before I had kids, but now it's just not even an option.
Yeah.
So compare it to that. They're probably working 80 hours plus a week. It's
Well, and 80 very
nightmarish.
stressful hours
Yeah.
with
So it's,
a lot on the line, and again, people might be just saying that I'm gone loony here, but I just wouldn't take anybody's business over my business. And I think I say this with Mark
Yeah.
on the line because having gone through thread after thread after thread, post after post on Warrior Forum, Mark has this
Yeah.
kind of unique situation where he's a lot like me and Kelly, where he has this kind of pristine reputation. So he's not like, he's not digging through the trenches and having people hate on him, and it's
yeah.
so
I get.
yeah.
Sorry, you go.
Yeah, no, I kind of apologize, but I think that I just think that what we do, especially when you're serving people, when you're doing a good job with your customers, it's just such an incredible opportunity. It's such an amazing lifestyle, and I just wouldn't
Yeah.
trade it for anything.
I think one other thing I kind of sorry I keep on adding one more thing.
Please do.
One other thing to add is just that number one determinant I notice among successful students of mine are ones that actually enjoy the journey.
Yeah.
People that seem to be hating every damn thing that they're doing
Yeah.
in internet marketing, it's pretty rare that I see them make it.
And, it's
People that can enjoy the journey and actually enjoy what they're doing, putting together these websites or doing, if you're really not enjoying it, then maybe you need to get into app building or maybe Kindle or something else if you really hate everything. Or do what I did and pay other people to start doing things for you. Like if you can't write articles, but you can do everything else, then
Yeah.
pay someone to write the articles.
And ultimately, if you're frustrated, then psychologically, what's going on is your goals are just a little bit too far ahead of you. Like, if your goal, like, we can have now. I'm not talking about your dreams. Your dreams should be big, and I want you to have big dreams. There's no reason for you not to dream to have the kind of success that me and Mark are having, or even much, much in excess of that. I think that's wonderful. But your goals should be, and you see Mark going through it right now. When Mark was trying to figure out, like, well, what was the name of that, expertrating.com? He just looked it up, right? Like, those are what our goals are like. We're constantly looking things up on Google, or we're constantly doing things that we already understand how to do, including research. And that's where our goals are. Our goals are a few seconds ahead of us, and we're constantly able to accomplish these little goals, and that keeps us happy. And that's what those more successful customers are doing, is they're always doing these little incremental goals when they don't know what to do, like how to do some certain application, how to do a WordPress plugin or whatever. They're watching tutorials, they're looking things up on Google, and that doesn't make them a Superman compared to you if you're not doing those things. You just haven't been taught properly how to do that. Have your goals in the future. Your goals can be not your goals. Have your dreams in the future. Have your goals be right now. Your goals can always be something, a little thing that you can do, writing a little article, doing a little plugin, doing a little bit of spin text if you're, or outsourcing a little bit of spin text.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to, sometimes you just got to break things down into small tasks and try and keep things simple. It might sound really complex, actually, looking at my business, but I mean, it really did start very, very simple. If I had to start tomorrow, I would probably, and I was to do it in internet marketing, I'd probably just start by setting up a simple website, either an affiliate site or a product site, wouldn't really matter, and go from there and just keep it. I'd probably keep it relatively simple. The key for me would be making sure that I did my email marketing right, in terms of like having a good follow-up sequence.
List building.
I would list build. I'd build a relationship by having a blog. And then I would just be deciding whether or not I would start by already having my own product, or whether I would just be an affiliate to start with. Just like what Matt Carter was like in the internet marketing niche. All he did was affiliate to people, and then later on he built his own stuff as well. And then so basically start off being sort of build into being an authority, and then go from there, adding your own product and so forth, but little steps at a time, really.
And exactly, all the things that we're talking about, everything that you just described, even in broad strokes, is just a few little steps. It's watching a few tutorials, and then click here, do this, click here, do that. Oh, I'm stuck here. Look up this tutorial. Okay, I'm stuck there. No problem. Look it up on Google. I didn't find it in the first entry. Test that. Didn't work. Go to the second entry. Test that. Didn't work. Third entry. Aha, it worked.
I tend to find that the people that do really well are people that actually enjoy learning.
Yeah.
And I think everybody in the world really should find a way to get in a role where they learn, that you enjoy learning. Because the moment you stop using your brain, that's when things start.
Wow.
The brain's a muscle. It's like any other muscle. If you stop working on it, sooner or later, things that used to come easy to you don't.
You were talking about, like, right now, you're relearning copywriting. You're just telling that to me.
I am. I was talking to you about that. I got good at long copy a while ago, but then, some things have changed. I kind of got to a point where I thought I was an A-grade copywriter, and now that I look at things, actually I'm a B-grade copywriter. That was good enough back in the day, and I'm, getting better at it again now. Always learning. I'm learning other stuff as well, just because I want to get my graphic designer doing some stuff, some video editing work. I thought about hiring a video editor, and then I thought, no, I'd rather just any good video editor. The key to it all is that they've got good graphic skills. Really. So I thought, you know what? No, I'm just going to take my graphic designer and teach him video stuff. I've got another video guy already, but as well, it's not like I don't have one, but I wanted to. I've got my video guy in the Philippines. As opposed to my video guy in New Zealand, my video guy in the Philippines is using different software than this guy, and I kind of wanted to just learn it for my own bit of fun as well. And I just wanted to see what can be done from a point of view of sales copy, and
I'm doing exactly the same thing myself right now. I totally agree with you.
Yeah, so you're always learning, and you just got to enjoy the process of learning.
And let's bring things full circle. Let's go back to that time when you're answering the phone. Hey, insurance, Mark here. And you had a little bit of time. What were you doing? You said this yourself. You had an extra 30 minutes here and there. you're looking at things on Google, looking through tutorials. You
Yeah.
were arming yourself. You were building that muscle. Because here's the thing, and
Yeah.
I talk about this a little bit inside of Project Profits, but I'll disclose more about it here. What we really try to do is we try to have a situation where if the key to having value is having your infrastructure nailed. If you have a good product with good customer service and you've kind of thought through the path that your customers are going to go through, things are very oriented and very nice, then everything is so much easier when it comes to go to sell in the marketplace. And that includes picking a good product to sell and being able to understand those products that you sell. If you're doing affiliate marketing, I mean, then picking a good product, knowing the paths of that product, and being able to express that product very well is a very, very powerful thing. And that's one of the reasons why I feel so grateful to be able to pick Mark's brain here when it comes to how he deals with infrastructure. And so you kind of see that Mark's doing a lot of the same things that me and Kelly are doing, really picking through things, really understand things, and having a passion for it. I mean, loving it, being like, yeah, I just learned something. That's awesome. It really matters.
I don't necessarily learn something from the point of view that I'm going to be doing this thing. I'm more learning it from the point of view as I've got a certain way that I want this thing to work, and I just need to know how to teach someone else how to do it. More along, or I want to know the capabilities of what can be done with it. I started, doodle animation videos. So I actually have recorded a couple of my own. I did them myself, just so that I could. I just wanted to sort of. They're not great compared to what some people can do. I just wanted to get it in my head exactly how it's done, and I just wanted to be able to experiment with a few things. Because sometimes, when the doodle animation videos, they cost a lot of money, like $1,000 per minute of footage.
$1,000 per minute. That's what we've been quoted.
Yeah, and it's like that's great when you've got your video nailed, but sometimes you want to split test and do a whole lot of.
I was saying the same thing to Kelly. Kelly was like, what do you think about doing that? And I was like, man, I want something with copy that already kills before I, blow $1,000 a minute. It's a lot of money.
Yeah. So I got a Wacom graphics tablet and started recording things like that. Like first of all, I started doing it with pen and paper. Worked out okay, but actually, I feel like it's faster just using the graphics tablet and just drawing online. I know it's not as effective apparently as seeing the hand on the screen, but in terms of just trying to get your copy converting, I figure that's what you do, and then. Once it's working, then you go and you pay the, whatever it costs to get it done, by one of those companies,
Sure. No, I think it's valuable for people to hear us discuss this stuff.
I need to plug my laptop in. Sorry to jump off the screen. I'm running on my last 1 or 2% of reserve power. Sorry, I've been getting the error messages and then my screen has turned black, and then I'm like, okay, I better chuck that in. So yeah, it's back now.
Well, that's great. Well, I really especially appreciate these last few minutes that we added in, and so often by going that little extra mile, we find so much more gold. And what we just discussed about this whole key about being confident that internet marketing really works, knowing that a good product is going to help you, and then knowing that a core of a good product is knowing a bit of infrastructure, not being afraid of it. All the top guys that we talked about, all the top guys that are on our Skype, that we know that have made $1 million or more or whatever, they all had infrastructure on their side to a lesser or greater degree. And that's a matter of just watching a few tutorials, looking up a few things on Google, which ultimately the basis of that is being passionate about learning, having fun with learning. We go through a school system nowadays that just sucks the fun out of learning, and it's awful, it's terrible. But if you can enjoy the learning process, and then that's going to get you to those big dreams. That's what's going to advance you, especially with internet marketing. It advances you more rapidly than you could possibly imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate the time. You're a great person to talk to, as always.
Yeah,
it's great to actually have a face-to-face rather than just
this is great.
Skype.
I feel really wonderful about this. This recording, this presentation. I really want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. I really feel like you dig deep and dig deep and dig deep. I know I was really grilling you here, but I think that I can confidently say on behalf of all the folks that have watched this video that they would want me to thank you as well. And so thank you very much, Mark. I really appreciate your valuable
you're
time.
welcome. You're welcome.
And I will see you very soon.
All right. Catch you later. Bye, everybody.
Great stuff.